their stronghold in Benghazi. The rebels are hoping the international community imposes a no-fly zone over Libya, which they say would ground Gaddafi's fighter jets. But so far, UN Security Council members haven't been able to agree on that. Borzu Dargahi is a reporter with the Los Angeles Times, and he's in Tripoli. Borzu, let's start with the situation on the ground. How precarious is the rebels' position right now?
Well, it's pretty obvious that the rebels are in trouble. The momentum is definitely with the Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's forces, his loyalists, his armed forces, as well as his irregular forces. And so, this is a tough time for them. The rebels are not a real army. They don't have the supply lines. They've had a few victories, including the claimed capture of a Greek tanker with 25,000 barrels of gasoline that was destined for the Libyan government. They say they've captured this, and they're keeping this, and they're going to use this for their war effort. But in general, it does appear that they're getting pummeled.
What's the latest on international efforts to stop Gaddafi?
Well, I think at this point, those of us on the ground, at least, are in agreement that those international efforts seem to be geared more towards providing domestic cover in Washington, Paris, and London for doing absolutely nothing. It does appear that that Gaddafi's military momentum is, at this point, moving much faster than the machinery of diplomacy. And this is just by necessity sometimes, because diplomacy is a slow, laborious process. But also there are interests. China and Russia, for example, do not want the precedent of establishing a no-fly zone over Libya because there could be an insurgency in their countries, quite likely, actually, and then the international community might move to impose a no-fly zone on parts of China or Russia.
So, whatever the international community decides, does it even matter at this point?
I think that's a really good point. I think it doesn't. In terms of the situation on the ground, the international community can't do much as a community. I'll give one exception, though. If, for example, the U.S. or France or Britain or some other country were to hurry into eastern Libya right now and provide them with a lot of weapons and some advisors and so on in the next day or two, maybe it would make a difference. But Libyan leaders, such as Muammar Gaddafi and his son, have predicted that a victory over the rebels in their eastern stronghold might happen in as soon as 48 hours.
Clearly time is running out. Borzu, thank you for joining us. That's Los Angeles Times reporter Borzu Dargahi in Tripoli.